a narrow corridor, a vital route, a point on the map that can stop the planet. In the heart of the Middle East, there is a maritime passage that at first glance seems just like another strait. But make no mistake, the fuel that keeps the world running passes through there. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Every day, about 1/5 of all the oil consumed on the planet crosses these waters. Gigantic oil tankers move slowly, carrying millions of barrels. Each vessel represents energy, money, power. But what makes this place so dangerous is not just its importance, it's its fragility. In some places, the strait is just over 30 kilometers wide, and the navigable routes are even narrower, a kind of maritime bottleneck where any incident can trigger a global domino effect. On one side, Iran; on the other, the Arab Gulf countries. Around, military bases, warships, and surveillance systems. A region where politics and strategy meet with constant tension. Over the past decades, the Strait of Hormuz has become a silent stage for geopolitical disputes. Threats of blockade, military exercises, interceptions at sea, and every movement is closely watched by governments and markets because everyone knows if this route stops, the impact will be immediate. Imagine waking up and seeing fuel prices skyrocketing, more expensive transportation, more expensive food, industries slowing down, financial markets falling. All of this starting from a single point on the map. The modern world depends on fragile supply chains, and few are as critical as this one. Tankers leave Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Iraq. They all pass through the same corridor. There is no quick alternative, no simple replacement. That's why the Strait of Hormuz is often called the planet's energy valve. But the tension is not only economic, it is also military. Warships constantly patrol the region. Drones monitor the skies. Submarines operate in silence. Any unusual movement can trigger an immediate response. Throughout recent history, there have been moments when the world held its breath. Seized ships, mysterious explosions, exchanges of accusations. And each episode made oil prices rise within hours. That's because investors know that the risk there is never just local, it is global. If the strait were blocked, millions of barrels would stop reaching the market. The supply would drop drastically, and when supply falls, prices skyrocket. But the impact would not be limited to fuel. It would spread like waves. The cost of transportation would increase. Products would become more expensive. Fragile economies would suffer first, and even distant countries would feel the effects, all connected by a strip of water. At the same time, the Strait of Hormuz also symbolizes strategic power. Controlling this route means having influence over the global energy flow. That's why major powers maintain a presence in the region, not only to protect, but to ensure balance, because any imbalance can mean crisis. And while ships slowly cross these waters, the tension remains invisible. There are no gunshots, no explosions, but there is constant surveillance, a kind of silent war, radar against radar, ship against ship, diplomacy against threat, and the world watches. The most impressive thing is that, despite the risk, the flow never stops. Day and night, vessels continue their crossing as if challenging instability because stopping is not an option. The global economy needs this route open. Industries need energy. Countries need to export. And consumers, even without realizing it, depend on this route. You may have never seen the Strait of Hormuz, but it influences the price you pay for fuel, transportation, and food. It is a distant point with a direct impact on your daily life. And while the world moves towards new energy sources, this dependence still exists. Oil continues to be the engine of a large part of the global economy, and as long as this is true, the Strait of Hormuz will remain crucial, a narrow line separating stability and crisis, a silent corridor carrying the weight of the planet. A place where geography turns into power. And the question remains, how long can the world depend on a single bottleneck? Because in the Strait of Hormuz, everything seems calm, but it takes just one event, one mistake, for the silence to turn into a storm. And when that happens, the impact will not stay there. It will travel across the ocean, cross continents, and reach you. The Strait of Hormuz is not just a point on the map. It is the invisible pulse of the global economy. And as long as this pulse keeps beating, the world keeps moving.